right. Hey, this is Bruce, Awesome Arcades. I'm out here in my garage, tinkering as usual, working on any one of a number of different products. And I get a question emailed to me a lot, and I thought I would make a video to answer it since I'm usually replying to the same question. So a lot of people ask, what's different between your product and some of the other companies' products that I see out there? And it's always tough to tell based on pictures, kind of what's different, but there's a few things that stand out that I can tell just at a glance. And so I'll address those. And then one other thing I just want to point out are the reviews of companies. And I cover this at length in other videos. If you go to the top of my website, there's a link to a YouTube channel and a Google Business channel. If you click the YouTube channel and scroll down, one of the videos is a direct comparison where I read my reviews and 4 of my main competitors' reviews. And I'm looking at Google Business reviews. The reason I use Google Business only is because if it's a company's website and it's the company reviews, those are reviews that they've procured. Anybody can take their best 5-star reviews and put them on their website, but that's not a true snapshot of how they interact with customers. I want to see all the reviews, 2-star, 1-star. In fact, when I buy stuff on Amazon, one of the first things I do is I go and I look at the 1-star reviews and I see how the seller addressed those. Did they reply right away? Were they defensive, or did they get argumentative, or was it something like the shipment was late and they said, sorry, we'll take care of it, Also, I like to look at recent reviews because there's some companies that have great reviews overall, and then I look at like their last 10 reviews and they're terrible, and like something happened or they changed the formula. Anyway, with Google Business, for better or worse, whatever the reviews say, those are accurate. And on the top of my website, there's a Google Business page on the right. It's a G. You can click that, look at my reviews, or you can go to my my YouTube channel, and you can look at a video where I have compared and contrasted my reviews. In terms of the cabinets, first thing I like to point out is the coin door. So I don't know why, but a lot of companies like to use, to be honest, most of my customers are putting these in a non-commercial application setting. They're putting them in their homes or wherever they're putting them, they're not charging quarters to play them. So a lot of companies know that, and so they use really inexpensive, kind of cheap-looking coin doors. They're plastic, they're like painted chrome that flakes off. I don't like to do that. I'd rather use an authentic, like a real $75 coin mechanism, just because I know that it helps the resale value if you ever want to sell it, and if you ever want to use it for coin-operated mode, it's actually going to work the way that it's supposed to. Another thing I like to point out is the thickness of the glass. So this is, I'm not going to say where I got this, but this is one of my competitors' products. This glass is a 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch glass is okay, but it is a lot more susceptible to scratches, and just in terms of the way that it looks, it doesn't look as good. Feel free to go on ChatGPT or go on AI and just ask it directly what's the difference between 5/8 thick tempered glass and a 1/4 inch thick tempered glass, and it'll tell you. But if you come over to my cabinet, you'll see, it might be hard to see from this, but my glass is 2/16 of an inch thicker. And it's actually a lot more expensive to do that, but I think it's worth it in the long run. One of the primary things, though, is the way my control panels are modeled. So on this cabinet, these control panels are just held down with 4 bolts. This is just a piece of plywood. And then if you ever needed to get this, I've removed the bolts for the purpose of this video, but if you have to work on this, this thing just kind of is freestanding. It just kind of hangs down, and it's just a simple piece of wood. Mine are metal. And then they have a plexiglass piece of, or a riveted piece of plexiglass that sits on the top there. And that's what it looks like before it's cleaned up, or before it's wrapped, But what that allows me to do is I can actually take these off and I can get this automotive vinyl. It's the same type of stuff that you'd see put on the windows of like a BMW M5, where they get a heat gun and they stretch wrap this vinyl material over there. And so these are just some examples I've got of customers that have opted to get vinyl. Okay, but the cool thing about my control panels is that they actually open on a hinge. You can just kind of see what that looks like there. So if you ever need to get down underneath, you just open that up and it allows you to get to that. These trackballs, these are actually Suzo HAP trackballs. These are top of the line, and feel free to go on ChatGPT and ask if you're curious the difference between a standard $25 LED trackball, which I think I have one laying around here. Oh, where are you at? It's been a while since I've used one, but Isaiah, you know where a trackball is? I should have had this ready for the video. Here we go. So these are it's a little dirty, but this is what they're using. And it's not actually a trackball, it's a computer mouse that they're using in place of a trackball as opposed to an actual Suzo Hap trackball. This is what you would have seen on famous arcade games in the 80s. Okay. I mean, these are anywhere from $75 to $100 each, depending on where you buy them. Those other ones that I was showing you, the LED ones, or the computer mouse ones, are $25, $20 to $25. Yeah, so those are some of the primary things. And then on the inside, mine have an insert, which a lot of companies have, but what they don't have is a beautiful shelf installed right in here, so you can put your stuff in here. And if you want to run different platforms, sometimes I'll have people do JAMA, which is what my cabinets are set up for. In addition, some people want to get, it's called a Raspberry Pi, or Batocera, or Mister, which is like a little PC box that you can sit there. Or if you want to run like an actual Nintendo or a PlayStation, you can just sit those down in there and plug them into the cabinet. Yeah, at a glance, those are some of the differences. If you have any questions, let me know.